I think gold's going higher. I'm long gold. I'm long both physical and contracts as well. My algorithm is long. I'm long, and I'm a big believer in owning a percentage of your portfolio in gold. Anyways, I think 1840 is going to be a huge number. If we can pump through there, I think you're looking at 1900 and farther. I think there's a good chance that in 2023 we'll see new highs. But again, we got to beat through certain levels before we can get there. I think silver looks better than gold and could make a bigger move in percentage basis. And I think platinum actually looks the best of all. And I think we could see some very dramatic movement. I think that in the year 2023, we're going to have a commodities boom. And that includes the hard asset commodities of gold, silver, and platinum. So I think they have an opportunity to go much higher. But they have to bust out of certain levels, because when you're looking at the technical parts of markets, that's the first stop or resistance or support of a market. And 1840 in gold is a very significant level that we have to break above before we can see this rally take hold.
New highs in gold. Let's come back to that statement. We've seen briefly over $2,000 in the gold price this year following the invasion of Ukraine, but that didn't sustain. So when you're talking about a new high in gold, is it going to be like this year when we just briefly touch that for a few days and then it comes back down? Or are we talking about a sustained level above $2,000?
I think you'll see sustained above 2,000. Now, again, let's be clear that can change.
Yes.
In my viewpoint, long term, we're going to see much higher prices in gold. But as a trader looking and discussing with you, I think we can get there. And if we get over there, I think we can run. Remember, we've had a couple of attempts at new highs that have failed pretty miserably, right? Going back to 2011 and here. But I think if we can get through, and with the commodities boom, I think that will start to attract more money. And when you now start to look at the potential of a digital currency that the governments are talking about, they don't want digital currency. So there would be, I think, even a bigger demand for people to switch to gold and silver as well. So I think there's a lot of bullish factors for the metals, but still they must technically break above certain key levels to really get them on the road.
Well, okay. What factors would need to be in place for gold to sustain above $2,000? Let's talk about that.
Well, we'd have to have buyers would have to be more aggressive than sellers. Demand would have to pick up. And I think that, if you look at the digital currency world, not cryptos, but government digital currency, people don't want to disclose every single thing they do. And I think that when you look at the fraudulent fiat currency system, I think people are starting to get more concerned that the currencies could fail. Look at this inflation, which is not a good situation. And if you give more power and more control to two organizations, government and central banking, that only create debt, they don't create any industry, I think that you could see a much bigger demand for gold. I think some of the non-believers in gold will start to become believers as they have to start turning in their script or their paper currency for digital, because eventually they're going to outlaw script currency or paper money.
All right, but specifically, going back to the question, specifically what factors in the economy would need to take place? Are we talking about lower interest rates?
No, the economy, I could care less. To me, it has nothing to do, again, this is where I think too many people make too much of a mistake.
Okay.
The economy sucks. Gold should be much higher here.
Yeah.
The things that have been going on in this country, gold should be much higher, but it's not, because there's still a weight on top of it. There's still more sellers, or the sellers are still aggressive. The buyers have to take hold, and technically it has to break out. Fundamentally, gold should be higher than it is right now, as should silver, as should platinum. But they're not, because, of course, the sellers are still in control of those markets, and that's what you have to remember, that markets move on supply demand, but moreover, they move on buyers and sellers and the price discovery mechanism. And price discovery tells you where it's going to be. So what we want to see is gold to break above 1840 and hold, which would attract new money either to cover their shorts or new money to become buyers, because it got to a certain level. The economy, we've seen over the years, David, the economy has not had a major effect on gold. Gold didn't go crazy upwards in 2008 when the markets got hammered.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. A lot of people say to me, hey, gold's going to go up next year because of a recession, because of higher inflation, because of this and that. Well, we've seen all those factors play out this year. Gold relative to stocks and Bitcoin did very well, but you're right. A lot of people expected it to be much higher. So let me ask you this now, Todd. If the economy is not the major factor supporting gold or driving gold, what's going to make the buyers come out? What's going to tip the supply and demand fundamentals in gold's favor next year?
Well, I as I said, there's they're using, many countries, including the United States, are using digital currency right now.
Okay.
Now, if we go to digital currency, you have no freedom. Okay. They know what you're doing every moment of every day. You spend money, they know about it. Okay. I don't think people are real comfortable with that. You want to go to Las Vegas and lose $1,000 because you have it. The government's going to know about it too, and you may not want them to know about it. So again, there's a lot of factors that bring in the fact that gold could be higher. The entire crypto world being talked about as a potential store of value. Well, gold is still a real store of value. Crypto could be, but it's still air, right? It's kind of like paper currency. The overall currency markets, right? We got currency failing everywhere. And the valuation, even though they don't tell you that they're valuing, your dollar buys less with the inflation. So gold is retaining value better throughout this. And again, in my opinion, there's a chance that gold, silver may be needed for a currency again someday. And I think people are going to want to have something, because if it comes down to that kind of market, they may need to have that currency, that form of currency in their storage, not on a piece of paper.
Yeah, if I go to Vegas and lose money, I don't really mind if the government knows about it. I can just write that off my taxes. My girlfriend or wife, maybe that's a different story. But
well, they'll know too.
All right, so digital currency is bad for people knowing that you don't want to know. I want to go back to the point you made about gold being a new currency again. What do you mean by that? I mean, is it not a currency already, Todd? Define what you mean.
Well, do you carry gold in your pocket to go buy something at the grocery store?
I'm not that rich.
You know what I'm saying? Right now, we all use fiat currency or credit cards or whatever. Yeah. But what happens when the fiat currency markets explode and they're no longer taking fiat currency? Yeah. There's already some countries that won't take certain types of currency now.
Fair enough.
Okay, what happens when you need food and nobody will take in your money, or you don't have any money, but you've got precious metals that could be used as a currency? This is going back to the 1600s, before there was paper money, right? I mean, listen, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but the potential exists because of all this inflation and because of taxation without representation. People have the ability to take it on themselves to create some money themselves and have it in their pocket.
It's true. I mean, if you look at some countries around the world that are experiencing very high inflation, if not hyperinflation, one of the best ways for them to hedge is simply to buy another currency, store a bunch of U.S. dollars in their homes if they can, for the privileged few who are able to do that. But you're saying gold might take that place?
100%. Right now, in fact, I will tell you, I believe that the dollar rally earlier this year was exactly that. Not necessarily people buying, but countries buying the U.S. dollar, because the true first place that countries go when they're afraid is the U.S. dollar, because it is still the reserve currency as of today.